A very good morning to one another person here. Now we are going to discuss about what is constructor and the types of constructor in C++. First we see what is constructor in C++. A constructor is a special number function whose task is to initialize the objects of the classes. What is class? A group of objects forms a class. A class describes the data and its behavior or functionalities. Usually, the class describes the data and its behavior of a group of objects. So, the main work of the constructor is to initialize the object of its classes. In the next slide, it is a special because its name is same as the class name. Suppose the class name is a student means the constructor name is also a student. The class name is employee means the constructor name is also employee. That is a class name and the constructor name should be same. The constructor is invoked whenever an object of the class is, of its associated class is created. So when the constructor is called means um, when we create an object of the class, the constructor automatically calls. That is, the constructor is invoked whenever an object of its associated class is created. And it is called constructor because it constructs the values of data members of the class. And in the next slide, multiple constructors in a class are possible. Here we have some constructors, that is a no argument constructor and a two argument constructors. That is here we have one constructor integer and this class name is also integer. Here we are not use int, here we use integer. Int is a keyword. We cannot use int as a constructor name. Why? Because it's having a special meaning in C and C++ language. Here the integer, here we use integer and open close parenthesis followed by semicolon. It's a no argument constructor. Within the bracket there is no argument, so it's called a no argument constructor. And after that, the next line we have two arguments, that is int and int, two arguments of the type integer. In the first case, the constructor itself supplies the data values and no values are passed by the calling program. There is no values passed by the calling program to the called program. Here the default values are used in the first case. And the second case, the function call passes the appropriate values from main function. The main function passes the values, passes two integer values, that is int and int to the function. That is from the main function to the constructor. The next slide, C++ permits to use more than one constructor in the same class. That is, we declare one class, a class followed by class name. What is the class name here? The integer is the class name here. And we declare two variables m and n of the type integer. In the public section, we have declared the constructor. Usually the constructors are declared in public section. That is integer. Why we are giving integer means the class name is integer, so we are giving as integer, and we initialize the constructor value as m equal to 0 and n equal to 0. That's the constructor 1. And we have another constructor integer int a comma int b, and we can assign the values. The a value is assigned to m and the b value is assigned to n. And next constructor integer ampersand I constructor 3. Here the value of I dot m, the object value I dot m is initialized to m and I dot n is initialized to n. And here next line is the constructor call. The constructor is automatically called whenever the class object is created. Here the class name is integer, the object name is s1. That is s1 is the object of the class integer. When the object is created and its corresponding constructor is automatically called. Here here the no argument constructors, that is integer s1, and automatically the first constructor is called here and the value of m and n are assigned to 0. And the next constructor, it is integer of s2 of 10 comma 20. The arguments, that is the values passed from the main function to the corresponding constructor. That is the 10 and 20 is passed to the constructor values. That is a equal here. The value of a is 10 and the value of b is 20. So the 10 is assigned to m and the 20 is assigned to n. Next constructor, that is integer. It is like a copy constructor. So integer, here we set one object. Object here we pass on objects. That is s2 is the object of the class integer. Here we create another object s3 and the send as the object s2 as a as argument. What is the value of s2 means argument values are 10 and 20. Here we just pass the value. That is the object s2 is passed and stored in I, the value I, and I received the s2 value. So I dot m equal to m and I dot n equal to n. Here the 10 and 20 is assigned to m and n respectively. Next, we see about the types of constructors. That is, the type of constructors are copy constructor, default constructor, parameterized constructor, and dynamic constructors. What are the types of constructors? Are copy constructor, default constructor, parameterized constructors, and a dynamic constructor. Next, we see about a copy constructor and a dynamic constructor. Uh, Now see the definition of copy constructor. Copy constructor is used to declare and initialize an object with the values from another object. Here we have to notify that the another object value is used to initialize one object. That is, the copy constructor is used to declare and initialize an object with the help of another object. Okay. Next, this is the definition for copy constructor, declaration and the definition. Here we syntax. That is the general format. That's called syntax. Here the constructor name and the class name ampersand object name. That is the general format and declaration of your a declaration to declare the copy constructor. That is constructor name within bracket class name ampersand object name and the body of the function and where ampersand object name is the value C++ object with values or reference object. Here we can give the reference objects or values. Next, copy constructor calling. How can we call the copy constructors? The syntax is the class name, leave on space, and a new object name and old object name. That is the syntax. End with semicolon. Or here we give the class name and the new object name equal to old object name. We can follow any one format. There is the first format or second format. There is the first syntax or second syntax. The first syntax is class name, leave on space, a new object name within bracket old object name end with semicolon. And the another syntax is class name, leave on space, new object equal to, here we use equal to instead of parenthesis, equal to old object name where the new object name equal to the object to be initialized. This new object means the object to be initialized and the old object name equal to the object already having values. The old object is used to initialize the new object. Already the old object having some values. Okay, and here we see one example program. Program to initialize an object S2 from object S1. Here we have two objects S1 and S2. The value of S2 is assigned to the object S1. First we include the header file that is hash include iostream.h. Header files having the extension .h and we declare one class and it's a class followed by class name. Here the class name is student. The class is also a keyword. Here we use all the class the keywords are in small case, small letter. It's a class followed by class name. What is the class name here? That is student. That's the class name. And we go for the access specifiers. That is private and public. In the private part, here we declare two variables. That is number and marks of the type integer. In the public section, we have declare the constructor of the class. The constructor name is student and it has two arguments int n1 and int m1. That's the constructor definition. And the value of n1 is assigned to number, and the value of m1 is assigned to mark. Assigned to mark. Usually, why we are giving the constructor name and the class name or same means the rules for creating constructor is the constructor name and the class name should be same. Here, the class name is student, so the constructor name is also a student. And constructor copy constructor definition, that is student, and is already we have seen the syntax, that is student ampersand s1, that is number equal to s1 dot number and mark equal to s1 dot mark. So the value of number is assigned to the object s1. S1 dot number means the S1 object having the values, private values NO and mark. Those values are assigned to number and mark, and we use on some print function. This is that is void. So void print, and here cout is the output statement. Cout number equal to number and cout mark equal to mark. So the main program ends. So here we use end with semicolon. Then starts the main functions. The constructor declarations end. So we put semicolon and we go for the main function. That is student. Here, here the class name is student, and we create objects of the class student, that is S1. S1 is the object. That object has two values, 20 and 400. It is called constructor calling. The first constructor is called, and again the student, we create another object S2 of the class student, S2 equal to S1. This is also same as copy constructor calling. And another one is same copy constructor calling S3. Here we have three variables, three objects, not variables. Here we are using three objects S1, S2, and the S3. These are the constructor calling. And the first object having the value of 20 and 400. Second object, here we directly send the object, and the third one is 10 and 500. And the fourth one is copy constructor calling, that is student of S4 of S3. Here the S3 object is directly we can send. That is a copy constructor calling. And the second one is same as the first one. Here the values are the initialized in the first object, so we can here we need not specify explicitly the values of S1. Already the values of S1 are declared as 20 and 400. So here we use student S2 equal to S1, and we print the values. That is S1 dot print means the function is called, the print function is called using the object 1, and through object 2, object 3, and object 4 as well. And finally we get the output. This is the output of the program. That is the output of S1.print is number equal to 20 and mark equal to 400. The same results will be coming for the second object also. That is output of S2.print number equal to 20 and mark equal to 400. And the third, the object of S3 dot print, that is number equal to 10 and the value equal to 500. And fourth one is the number equal to 10 and mark equal to 500. Why? Because the values of a student S1 and S2 are same, and the object S3 and S4 are same. Next, we go for dynamic constructors. Dynamic means runtime. That is runtime allocation. That's called dynamic. If the memory space for the constructor, the memory variable is allocated during the constructor calling, then it's called dynamic constructor. What dynamic constructor means? The memory variables of the constructor is allocated during the constructor calling. Then it is called a dynamic constructor. This is done with the help of the operator new. How can we achieve this mechanism means using the new operator? Here we have one program, that is first we include the header file iostream.h, and include the header file string.h, and class followed by the class name. The class name is student, and we declare the variables integer, number is the variable of the type integer, and we declare another one pointer data. Name is a pointer to character data. Here the ampersand sorry, the asterisk represent, here is the star symbol, that's the asterisk represent the variable as a pointer variable. What is pointer? Pointer is used to store the address of another variable. Okay, in the public section we declare a constructor, that is student, which has some arguments, that is the integer argument and a character argument, that is a pointer. It's a pointer construct definition NO equal to N and name equal to new. Already told you the new operator is used to allocate allocate the initialize the memory variables. This name equal to new or character string length of NA plus 1. And during constructor calling, memory space NA plus 1 will be allocated to the name. And NA name equal to NA. Here we create memory and assign the values. And void print, that is C out equal to number and C out name equal to name. And here the constructor definitions end here until the main function started. And void main, there is only one main function in every program. Why? Because the program execution starts with the main function, and we declare the object of the class student. This S1 and S2 are the object of the class student. The S1 object having two variables, that is, sorry, two arguments, that is in numeric two and one string variables, that is 2 comma rows, and S2 object having two kind of arguments, that is integer and a string argument, that is 5 comma Jasmine. In the first one allocates 4 space to the name, and the second one allocates 7 space to the name. Because Jasmine having a 7 characters and Rose having a 4 characters. The string for Rose having 4 characters. And the next we print that we call the print functions using the corresponding objects, that is S1.print and the S2.print. Finally, we get the output, that is number equal to 2 and name equal to rows. And the next one is we call the print function using the object s2, which will produce the results a number equal to 5 and name equal to Jasmine. Okay, that's all in the constructor. Thank you.